Hi Moonbeams, it's Nikki T here at Moonchild Tarot and I have a mod video for you. Welcome or welcome back. We are going to get into the Summer Deck mod, which is a tag created by Erin at the Witch of Saturn. And I've done part of this mod about a month ago and I just had it saved on my phone. I didn't really think that people would want to see me modding a deck, but I took this tag as a sign to put it up, and I asked in the community as well, and you want to see the deck mod. So without further ado, let's get started. Hello, this is Editing Nikki here. So yeah, this was done on a cozy little day. You can see my Goddess of Love tarot there. I just do not like those bright red borders. I think it really distracts me, and I found that just having to go in there with a second snip, I've sped it up so I don't actually trim this fast. But as you can see, I was using the guillotine and I was trying to get as close to the like white line as possible, but then I soon found that even though I had the thing there where it keeps it the same all the time, so in theory it should have cut the same. In practice, that didn't really kind of work. I do have a couple of cards that are not, it's not perfect and it's not straight because it's, I don't know what it is, somewhere close to, you know, fully taking the white line off, and some were hardly taking, you know, a lot of the white line off there. And I soon found that, I don't know, it just feels like it's ever so slightly with the deck, some of the lines are ever so slightly off, but it might have just been me, it might have been my, you know, cutting ability, whatever. I am a bit of a clumsy person. I'm not that good with kind of spatial things, so yeah, so I just did one side at a time so that I could try and get them all the same. This cutter was a really cheap one that I bought especially to trim this deck, and it wasn't the sharpest. I think you need to kind of do it in one full motion, otherwise it kind of buffs the card stock. It like kind of, if you do it really slowly, it kind of tears the fibers of the cardstock a little bit more. Yeah, so I don't know whether I need to do something where I can like resharpen it or something like that. It is a very cheap guillotine off you know, off Amazon. Yeah, so I just sat there, listened to some music, listened to, you know, the kids were playing in their rooms, and just kind of got on with it. Yeah, I think this is where I was realizing that the guide thing was either possibly moving back, or there was just something where it wasn't exactly straight. And I'd like things to be perfect and straight and whatever. I do know that that's not possible, but I wanted it kind of as smooth as it could be on my hands, because again, I feel it quite in my hands. So if the cards are slightly differently off, I kind of feel that. And it's, again, it's a sensory thing for me there. But yeah, you could see that side was okay. It was, I think, when it came to doing the other sides, then that's where it started getting a little bit fishy. but you can see I was like showing the how smooth it was, and then it went all downhill after that. Shortly after that moment, yeah, you'd think if it's set on that thing it would cut all the same, but the cards have ended up a little bit like not cut perfectly straight. But as I said, modding a deck is an ultimate commitment. It's something that you don't take lightly, and you don't do to a deck that you're thinking of kind of passing on or selling or anything like that. I think I definitely wouldn't. I would be very, very, very reluctant to mod an indie deck or anything like that. I think because this is mass market, I was trying to cover the nudity there with my hand. I think a mass market deck is easier to kind of justify the mod because you can get it again. I definitely wouldn't probably do it to an indie deck just because, well, yeah, because of the sheer expense of it and things, and, you know, being practical and stuff like that. Whereas this, you know, this deck could, if I stop using this deck, I could use it for other things, or I could do other things with it, and I won't mind a lot. So now I'm moving on to the second side, and yeah, I think this is where I started realizing that it wasn't gonna be completely, yeah, I was measuring it up, and I'm thinking, right, I'm gonna have to move it slightly because they weren't coming out completely straight. But I will leave you with the rest of it. So I'm trimming the sides, and I'm going to trim the tops and the bottoms as well. And I shall put some music over the top while I do that and finish that. Hey, I'm back. So all the way through this, I kept checking that it kind of felt equal to each other, and like checking through the deck, putting it together, giving it a shuffle. Um, Before then, I went on to do the corners. I do appreciate corner rounding because trying to shuffle a deck with pointy corners is not great on your hands. So I just went through with this with a corner rounder. I much prefer to do like get in the zone where I will just corner round for a while, or just cut for a while. This corner rounder wasn't the best. It came with the trimmer. I think I might dig out because I used to craft a lot and I used to make scrapbook pages, cards, everything. So I have a corner rounder somewhere. So I think I am gonna dig out my corner rounder. And this is the deck that I am thinking of modding next, but that'll be in the next part, the next section of the video. So are you ready for the final result? Here we go. So I edged it in this blue. I can't remember whose channel I saw it on, but I saw somebody had edged it in blue and thought, oh, that's a great choice, because I think there is a lot of pink and red in this deck. And there is blue in it, so I like the blue that kind of contrasts with it. Somebody also coloured the moon in, but I don't have the patience for that. So I just went with the edging. It is, it's not perfect, even though I used a guillotine. It's not perfect. It's not straight, but I'm happy with it. I think with deck mods, it is the ultimate kind of sacrifice. It is the ultimate thing of, I'm going to keep this deck. I'm not going to get rid of it. So there are some decks in my collection where I could mod it, but I'm like, no, I'm not going to mod it at the moment because I'm not sure about whether I'm going to pass it on. I'm thinking of you, Wildwood. So hopefully I can show a couple of cards. I just feel like the border was really overwhelming it, and now I can just, you can just see it just feels better, and it's got that, I like that it's got that blue tinge around the sides because it just kind of gives it a little bit of a contrast. As I said, I won't be kind of be able to get rid of or to pass this on. So I am definitely now committed to using this. This is a deck I originally bought to work with kind of Aphrodite, Venus energy, that kind of soft, feminine self-love vibe. And I have, after doing this, I've started to use it a little bit more, and I am gonna put it in my July rotation. So yeah, so I'm happy with it. I'm pleased with it. Yeah, it is sometimes it's a little bit scary to do these things, but I think because it's mass market, if I really dislike it, which I don't, apologies, the camera's shaking. I was just moving my knee and it knocks the table because you're clamped to the table. I like it a lot better now. It feels better in my hands. It will shuffle a little bit better, even though it shuffled quite well. Yeah, I am really, really happy. Another deck that I modded, but I haven't edged it yet. I need to edge it. This was the first deck that I actually did. This is the Solitary Witch. Now, the Solitary Witch had borders down the side, and it was quite, chunky to hold. It was a little bit taller than this. It is a big deck, and I struggle with, I don't want to complain about my tiny hands, but I've got small hands, and also I've got very weak hands. They when I see people riffle shuffling like and doing the bridge and stuff with some of these decks, I'm like, I marvel, because I haven't got the strength in my hands to do that. I've got very, very weak hands. But with this, I just thought I was going to take the sides off, and then I trimmed at the bottom. So there was a little bit of space here at the bottom just to make it a little bit like less tall. I have got a deck on my wish list that I've been looking at, and I know it's a big deck, and now I'm getting to the point where I'm going, nah, I might not get that deck, or I might use that deck in a different way because it's so big. I just can't do big cards. And I know not everybody has smaller hands and things like that, but I've just got to make it work with me. And I just do think it's much better this without the border. I just do love it. You know, it has took, like, it's took a little bit of the bottoms kind of off, but I'm fine. I'm not that worried about. And this has encouraged me, doing this deck mod has encouraged me to use this deck more. I bought this deck and it kind of went to the back of the shelf. I didn't use it because I was struggling to shuffle it. Now that I've broke it in as well a little bit, I don't have a problem shuffling with it. And I would, you know, when it's getting, you know, into the darker half of the year, because I do feel like this is a darker half of the year deck, I am going to be using this much more. You know, it is one of my witchy. I should do that. I was thinking about the witchy tag. Put in the comments if you want to see me do the witchy deck tag. I don't have a lot of decks, as you know, but I could probably, you know, get most of them through that, because I do have a few decks like this. But anyway, so yeah, so the plan with this one is to edge it in like a grey or a silver. I do have, are they here? Yes, they're here. I do have some really cheap, these are really cheap metallic markers. So I'm thinking, whoa, excuse the chaos here. The one that I want doesn't come out. I was thinking of edging it in this, but I'm a bit worried about it transferring or kind of coming off, or because I do like the idea of it being metallic, but I'm worried about it kind of getting everywhere or transferring. But to be fair, it's only going to transfer onto my hands. It's not going to be that much of a kind of problem, and I could probably leave them out somewhere like on a sunny windowsill. You know, this room is west facing, so I could put them out on a windowsill and, you know, try and kind of dry them up a little bit. Well, you know what I mean, like cure them with like the sun. So yeah, so the plan is probably with this silver marker I will do that, and I might do that in a little bit actually, because I've got a hubby has tasked me in watching a TV show. He's watched the first season already, but now the second season has got one of my favourite actors, Matt Berry. I love Matt Berry. If you don't know who Matt Berry is, I'll pop a picture, but he is an absolute legend. He plays Laszlo in What We Do in the Shadows, and he has his own comedy show called Toast, Stephen Toast. And I'm just wanting to quote lines, you know, Stephen, this is Clem Fandango. Anyway, and he wants me to kind of watch the first season so that I can then watch the second season with him, with, you know, I'm a bit, you know, if it's got my favourite actor in, yeah, I'm gonna watch it. But I digress, as I usually do. So I'll probably sit and edge this in while I'm watching that. Now, the next deck I plan to mod, and I'm a little bit nervous about this one because I mean, this is a mass market deck. I could pick it up quite easily. I could probably pick up the pocket version, because the pocket version I don't think has any borders. And this is the Crow Tarot. I just think I need to take off the borders. Now, the problem with this is, as you can see, the majors have got this kind of design over them, and the minors have just got the border. So I was thinking I was just going to trim this border off, and then with this, it'll probably line up. It'll take a little bit of that top edge off. It'll take, obviously, down the sides because they match, and then it'll take a little bit of the, I think it lines up. It'll take a little bit of the bottom bit off, and then I'm not sure about, I probably might edge these in black, because, you know, we've got the brown there, or maybe, I don't know, I've got just the sudden flash of like a very like petrol, you know, like a very dark petrol-y kind of colour, you know, that metallic-y. But again, I've got to use what I've got. I've got limited resources. I don't work, so I have to use what I've already got in the house. So I probably won't be able to do it in a kind of petrol-y. But I think when I think of crows, I think of that, you know, it's not just black, it's that kind of slight shimmery kind of vibe there. And I don't think I have any pens that, I don't really do metallic-y pens. But yeah, so I will trim this when I'm feeling brave, and I will edge this, as I said, I can get another version if I mess up, but I don't really want to. Again, modding is an ultimate commitment. You're making the ultimate commitment to, and edging is slightly different. Like with my Llewellyn, for example, I bought this and it was already edged. I wasn't worried about that. You know, it's a lovely, lovely colour. And they've done the edging kind of there, and I love it. It you know, it works. I think most people wouldn't mind buying a deck that was edged. I know there are a lot of people that want it pristine and want it the white and everything like that. I'm not too bothered with that. I think the idea of cutting it is, I think then if you're wanting to resell it, it's it becomes into kind of strange territory. I am never getting rid of this deck, so I don't mind cutting it. I don't mind like edging it and doing everything to it. So that is the next project. Then if I'm feeling brave, and I'm just trying to get it without knocking everything else down, if I'm feeling brave, I'm gonna do my tarot of vampires, because I'm not gonna trim this, because I do like the actual black borders on this. I think it works. I'm probably gonna edge this, and I am thinking of like a deep red. I think I have got a colour in mind. I'm not thinking as bright red as this. I'm thinking a deeper kind of more maroony or burgundy kind of colour to suit it. Then also what I'm thinking of doing, because obviously this is in Spanish, I'm thinking of putting, because I'm never getting rid of this deck, it's, you know, I'm thinking of putting the like number, and maybe like, I'm just trying to think, right, that's swords, so I'll put the number, and then I might put oh well, this is oh, excuse me, brain's gone, trying to find a different card now. Right, so here, the 2 of Pentacles. So I am probably going to put something like a 2 and then a P for Pentacles. I think I could do, you know, the fire, water, earth signs on it, but I think that I immediately would be like, what one's that? What, you know, to make it easier for me to read, and this has got to be a readable deck. So if I put the 9 and I put P, I'll know it's the 9 of Pentacles or 9P. So it's going to be P, W, S and C. I do actually, it's the numbers more than, I know that is Pentacles. I know that is swords because I'm, you know, starting to learn to learn Spanish through this deck. You know, that the devil, it's quite obvious, but if I put the number, it just with them, it'll make it easier. And I think I'm one of them people where I am a bit of a completionist. If I'm going to put numbers on all, you know, all of them, if I'm going to put numbers on some of the major arcana, I'm going to do it to all of them. This is the daughter of Pentacles, so it will be D. I'm going to have to work out how I do the difference between, oh, it's the Lord and the King and the Knight, actually, or the Prince. So with this deck, it's not too bad. So this is the Lord of Swords. So say, you know, it's the King of Swords or the Lord of Swords. It's the, well, it's more of the Knight. And then it's a weird, this deck is a weird mix of RWS and Thoth, if you get what I mean. It is, because it doesn't traditionally follow the Thoth. It doesn't traditionally follow the RWS. It's kind of a hybrid of them all. But I will get, you know, I will get this done hopefully before the spooky season arrives, because I do want to kind of, come October, this is definitely coming out and definitely getting used again. So yeah, so this is a project. You'll have to excuse the wind. We have just come out of the worst heat wave since records began in June, the worst heat wave of June, and it is now so windy and so cold, much colder, but I'm not complaining because I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it when it's cooler. I can't do with the heat. With it triggers my MS. Anyway, so I'm gonna edge that. And I might make part 2. I'm gonna trim and edge the Crow Tarot, and then later on in the year I'm gonna do the Tarot of Vampires, and possibly as well the Murder of Crows, because that's not going out of my collection either. So thank you for being with me in this video while I rambled about my deck mods. I appreciate you all being here. If you have seen my content and you like it, please, I know we all go on about subscribing, liking, commenting, everything. We have to feed the plant that is the YouTube algorithm. Yeah, it's like feed me now. Yeah. But please, it does really help. And yeah, I'm trying to claw my way to 500 subscribers. It feels like it's a mammoth task because I lost 3 yesterday, and I was a bit like, oh no. You can see it when you're when you're under 1,000. You can notice that where the ups and the downs go. I've got, lesson is, don't check my YouTube analytics. That's the big key to it all. Anyway, yes, because I want to, I've got some exciting plans for, hopefully, if I reach 500. Anyway, I will leave you at that. Thank you very much. Thank you to Erin, the Witch of Saturn, for creating this tag and prompting me to get my backside out of gear and to get that video, kind of put this video together, talking about the mods that I've been doing. I hope you have a wonderful week, my beautiful Moonbeams, and I will see you later. Bye for now.